just out of truth, let's not do any bullshit.
I'm not going to bullshit.
I want you to also critique, let's try.
You really want to hear it straight?
Fuck yeah.
I think
please.
You do want to hear it.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Look, this movie, Never Look Away. I got the trailer yesterday. Okay. And I go, and then there was a movie link and I go, shit, I got to watch a fucking movie now. And, I'll just watch the trailer and I'll get an idea. And, I swear to God, I got chills from the trailer. There's a moment in the trailer, I swear to God, my hair stood up.
It's about 2/3 of the way through?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Because I was like, yeah, and then, it happened.
Oh, when you find out what happened. And then I go, you know what, Joe, who's out there, I'm going to watch this tonight. I'm intrigued enough that I want to see this.
Amazing, cool.
And I got to tell you, I was emotional. It was a roller coaster. It was kind of like who I think she was, Margaret Moth, who you directed this documentary, Never Look Away. And it was sort of like, there were so many great things about this. I mean, were there models or was it animation at times?
No. It's like Dracula. We don't want to use very lo-fi real in camera everything. Yeah, practical stuff. So it's a large scale diorama.
Holy shit! Like I've never seen anything like it. Like when
you're just not old enough, bro.
I'm 50s. I'm 52.
Okay. Well, I'm 56, and when I was a kid, that was our CGI. Was diorama.
Yeah, so I know.
Okay.
It was all practicals, and I love that. But this moved me. This woman, first of all, I mean, everybody has to see this. And when I say that, I usually say, oh, go see this movie. This actor or this director, go see it. It's in, and I'll have enthusiasm. But with this, I really want people to see this because I think it's profound. It's beautiful. It's about friendship. It's about someone who just pushed it to the edge. And like, I've never seen anyone. This is like the strongest woman I've ever seen. And what she went through where most people, would have given up or would have said, especially with her beauty and her, notoriety and like that, sort of like a gypsy.
The sexual charisma.
Charisma. So anyway, it was so emotional and so well directed.
Oh, thank you.
That I was enamored by like what you did. So I'm hoping you're directing more.
Yeah, well, that's sure the plan. I'm going to hustle like a son of a gun,
I don't think to
make the next thing. Well, I've got something, and
yeah, can I be in it? No. Okay. No. I'm going to say the synopsis. Would that help, or would you want to why don't you say what it is? The movie.
No, I want to hear your synopsis.
Well, this is the synopsis. CNN camerawoman Margaret Moth fearlessly captures footage of war zones. After receiving catastrophic injuries in the crosshairs of battle, she returns to work with more courage than ever. An intimate portrait of a trailblazing female photojournalist features interviews with Moth's family and friends, including CNN's anchor and Sundance Film Festival premiere. It was just like...
Yeah, she worked with Christiane Amanpour. She worked with a lot of the greats of that era. And so we were lucky enough to have access to them through Joe, her best friend, who was also a cameraman there. And all down to her lovers. And I thought that they would be dead because everybody said, that he was a heroin addict. And I mean, they were all heroin addicts.
The other guy was like a drunk and got into drugs.
I found them. I couldn't believe it.
Did you find them through the family, through her family?
No, Jeff, I was given his number. The other one, Yashinka,
Jeff's the long hair.
Jeff's the long-haired guy. He was 17 when she took up with him. She was 30, actually 31.
And he was a junior in high school and left his senior year just to be with this woman he was enamored by.
Well, yeah, he was already dealing drugs. He was like 3 or 4 years into his alcoholism. His father was, all this stuff. So she didn't get him started. She might have actually toned down his usage of substances, actually. But still, you do kind of... From today's point of view, go, oh, Margaret, no, come on, leave the kid alone.
Yeah, that's what I was like, if that happened today, I mean, it would be frowned upon.
Yeah, I mean, maybe even then. Then.
But, it was a different time, though.
Yes, well, his mother was not crazy about her, that's for sure, but his mother was part of his problem. So, according to him.
Right.
Anywho, yeah, so I found the other lover, Yashinka, because I knew that he had been part of a film crew, one of whom was kidnapped by, I won't say which group in the Middle East, because if I've got it wrong, then it's no good.
Right.
But, and I looked up that event and I found him and I sent the picture of him to Joe and I said, "Is this the guy?" He went, "Yeah, oh my God, that's him. He's still alive." So, and I found him. And we pull up to this house in Paris or outside of Paris, and it's got this massive, like a prison gate, right? All corrugated sort of steel. And we push the buzzer and the gate rolls back. And then you see in front of us, there's this 4-story kind of mansion, like 18th century mansion, like little Lord Fauntleroy lives there. And there's Yashinka, who's he's a gypsy and kind of a gypsy king. Like he's wearing a brocade jacket and immaculate white jeans and a fluted collar and like the cuffs all designed just so, right?
Right.
And he's flanked by 2 enormous goats. It's like Mr. freaking Tumnus, right? It's like something Narnia about this guy. And I just couldn't believe we found him. Such an unusual
Just
guy.
incredible characters. That's what I was thinking. Who approached you about this?
Joe Duran was Margaret's best friend. He's also in the film. And he
Yes.
said, "Do you want to make a film about my best friend?" He's also is the executor of her estate, which amounted to a suitcase full of memories and her house in Istanbul. So that was great because he gave me entree to getting Christiane Amanpour on screen, which was a real get, as you can imagine, and the other players.
But even the head of like CNN at the time, that guy.
Yeah, Tom Johnson.
You got him to speak about these things.
Well, they loved their people back then. You know, it was a completely different era. But I think, to be honest, they were a bit shocked about the movie that I made because even though the war stuff was all totally, was tickety-boo, I don't think they were thrilled about the
sex life and
drugs,
the drugs.
And punk music.
But she was a rock star in her own right? By anyone who knew her.
Yeah, but they didn't know. She kept everybody siloed off. So she was different things to different people.
I mean, and it was just, like the darkness that always, what really hit me is when, and you guys you just have to see this. She gets Margaret gets her face pretty much blown off. Mm-hmm. And her jaw is detached. She goes through 25 surgeries over the years, but she returns hardly being able to speak and says, "I want to get behind the camera again, and I want to go back to these war zones, and I want to do that, and this is what I love." And what I got from that was she was always playing with death. She was always, I just got chills again because I'm thinking about her life and how hard it must have been because she had an abusive mother, incredibly abusive. The father, they don't go too much into that, but he was abusive, but the mother seemed like the real.
That surprised me, actually. I thought for sure the father was a problem because Margaret hated her dad.
Right.
But all the others were like, no, Mum was the monster. Like when Dad wasn't drunk, he was okay. Now I think they soft-pedaled it, and I wish I had pushed them harder because he did beat up the mother, but they didn't say that. They were all really dogging on the mother.
Right.
So, and then the mother in turn dogged on Margaret's boyfriends for whatever reason. So she would criticize
the
Yashinka,
French guy,
Yashinka, the gypsy boyfriend.
Yeah.
And accuse him of all sorts of terrible stuff.
You're a heroin addict. You don't want to be here.
Right. Well, the fact he was a heroin addict was no surprise to Margaret. I mean, she was that was part of their relationship. Yeah. But yeah, there was just lots of enmity being sort of fire hosed around that hospital.
But she says something, there's something that was profound to me where one of the boyfriends said something like, "How was your childhood?" And she goes, "You know what? I don't really remember it." And that was it. Right.
And he was so young and dumb, he accepted that. And I think that's why she was with younger men, because they would not expect her to meet them halfway. An older man would say, "No, come on, be frank with me." These kids would just accept her as, "Wow, you're so mysterious. What a high priestess you are, let's do some acid. And whereas a man might go, tell me what's really going on. Don't bullshit me. These kids never did. And I think that was I don't think she would like me personally, because I wouldn't accept that from any of my friends. It's like, and also she and her whole family had no insight into self. That's why the family was quite difficult, and I struggled to understand what I was seeing. The fact they were raised with no nurturance, completely emotionally neglectful childhood, meant that I think they never developed the capacity for self-insight.
Or self-love.
Definitely not self-love.
Yes, I understand those things, yes.
Right, well, perhaps you understand better than me, but they never, zero spirituality and zero inclination to question the past. They only go forward. And I think that became Margaret's superpower.